Good morning and happy Wednesday. I am so excited to be here with all of you. My name is Becca and I live in South Central Pennsylvania with my husband and two little girls. And I'm excited today to take over Michaela's Instagram and share a little bit about what a day in life looks like for me. I work primarily as a social media virtual assistant, and I'll kind of talk more about what that looks like and why I've kind of chosen that title for what I do currently in my business. But right now it is about like 6:15 here. My day starts off. I try really hard to get up before the rest of my family. And I just use this time to get ready for the day, to sit, read my Bible, have some quiet time, and just prep before both my kids get up and the day begins. So quiet time never lasts super long around here. So it is almost close to 7 and that my husband is showering, getting ready for his work day. My toddler is getting up right now. I can hear her and I'm going to get her ready for preschool. She goes to preschool part-time Monday through Wednesday, which is nice for me so I can focus on my business, and I'll talk more about that later. But right now I use this time to get her up, dressed, ready to go, get the baby up as well, nurse the baby, and then we have some family time, eat breakfast together before the day starts. Okay, so at this point in the day, once my toddler and husband are out the door, it's playtime now with this one before she goes down for her first nap. So this is our time. I'll drink some coffee or tea, whatever, and just hang out with her for a little bit. Okay, so after our playtime together, this is usually when she starts to get a little fussy, a little tired. She's been yawning a bit. So I'm going to put her down for her first nap. And that's usually when I can get the first chunk of my work done for the day. Okay, so baby is down and fingers crossed she takes a good nap. So those of you who may actually already follow me on Instagram know that my second, this one that is home with me, the baby, she is a horrible sleeper. So you never know what you're gonna get. You have to be flexible. So anyway, this time of day, I do come to my office. I will show you my office later. It is nothing like what you would see Pinterest worthy by any means. So I'll give it to you straight, real mom life. It is a mess. There's toys and everything. But right now, I will share a little bit more about my story before I dive into my first little bit of work. Okay, so I'll use this time to share a little bit about my story in case anybody here that is watching can relate and be encouraged. So just like many of you, I was a former teacher. I taught in the public school classroom for almost 8 years. I was a middle school music teacher and I loved it. I loved being a teacher. It's what I went to college for. Music has always been a part of my life. But I went and got, a teaching degree as well as a vocal performance degree. So, I loved the job in itself. But when I became a mom, my priorities seemed to shift a little bit. I had my first daughter in July of 2019, and I had a really rough transition back into the classroom. I had my daughter in July, and I was back very beginning of September because I did not have enough sick days. My maternity leave was on the dot exactly six weeks. That was it. I returned to the classroom, and not a lot of people knew I had mastitis. I was dealing with horrible postpartum depression, and as we all know, maternity leave is not great in the United States. And I had to advocate for myself that I needed pumping time. It was just one thing after another that whole fall of 2019. It was really stressful. And that was the beginning of me saying, I just want to be home with my girls, my daughter at the time. And so there had to be something else out there. So the rest of 2019 and into 2020, we all know what happened in 2020, a pandemic hit, and that just made things worse with teaching. It was also the beginning, though, for me that I was searching for something. to be home. I enjoyed being home. Now, a lot of people watching this might think, oh my word, she's crazy. But I got to spend time with my daughter. And I would definitely call myself a homebody. I still love getting out, talking, meeting people, socializing, but I don't mind working from home. I enjoy it a lot. And so that was the beginning for me during the pandemic. That's just when I realized, like, I need to find something that I can work from home. I bought Michaela's course in January of 2021. And I took the slow approach. What I mean by that is you may have seen a lot of stories on here of people who bought the course, they binged it right away, and then they were landing clients within the month. And that's not my story at all. And I'm okay with that. And I hope that that encourages, if you're sitting there and you think that, you know, you have to like do everything really quickly, if that's not what you're able to do in your season of life, that's okay, because it worked for me, and I'll kind of explain a little bit more about what that looked like. So after I bought the course, I took the slow approach. I think it took me about maybe 2.5 months to go through everything. I really had to remind myself over and over to just not perfect, just get it done with. Michaela talks a lot about that in the course. So in the springtime, I had got my business up and running of April 2021. And no, I did not land clients right away, but I was constantly networking, talking it up. Throughout the summer, I was figuring out, you know, how to use certain things like Canva. I had never explored, even as a teacher, before I took Michaela's course, and just all the different things. I was, you know, learning things on YouTube and really just bettering myself in that aspect. But no, I was not landing any clients. I also ended up getting pregnant that summer. And so that kind of changed things as well. So I was pregnant with baby number 2 at that point. We moved houses. There was just a lot of things that happened from the end of summer into the fall of 2021. And so in the fall, I did start landing some discovery calls and some client work, kind of like one-off projects and things, but no retainer clients at that point. I had an incident. I've talked about this on my business Instagram page. I've shared it with my audience there. But I had an incident happen in that fall in the teaching classroom. That was the final straw for me. As a lot of teachers know in this day and age, there is not a lot of support. And if you work in a district that is very supportive, I'm envious. That wasn't my case in this scenario. And that was the final straw for me. I knew I would be going full-time in my business that fall. At the end of February of this year, I went on maternity leave a little bit early. I was done with the classroom at that point. Everybody knew. I was telling everybody I'm not coming back, you know, the following school year. I was going to go out on maternity leave. So I went out a little bit early. I used my maternity leave to really build up my business this year. My baby was born March 23rd. I took a couple days off, but I felt really good this time around, and so like energetic, positive, excited that I was on discovery calls and landing clients 3 days after I gave birth. Some of you listening to this might think that is absolutely insane. It probably is, but it worked for me. I was home anyway. I would have just been watching Netflix anyway. So I thought, I'm going to work on my business. And that's what I did. I landed in my maternity leave from February to April. I completely overbooked myself, landed 4 retainer clients. And so they were really gracious. They knew that I was finishing out the school year. I went back for 4.5 days, the last week of school, to pretty much clean up, get my things in order, and tell my school district, see you later, I'm not coming back. And that is what happened. And it was exciting. I surpassed my teaching income at that point. And so it was a no-brainer for me. So that is my story. It was kind of a more slow approach. You know, after I was in business for a year before I, you know, was completely at my income level that I needed, booked out with clients. And, you know, that worked for me and my story. Okay, I tried to make that as short as possible, but I feel like I ranted a little bit. So it is now time for me, while the baby is still sleeping, that I'm gonna get my first little bulk of work done. And then I will check back in a little bit later. But if you have any questions, feel free to drop them here. And then I will make sure to answer them throughout the day. Okay, someone's awake. Hi. You ready to get up from your nap? Say hi. So we are up from our nap. I got a good chunk of work done. That was about an hour-ish, a little bit more than an hour, so that was good. So right now, I'm gonna get this one dressed. I'm gonna get ready, and then this is usually, if it's nice out, we take a walk. This is where I wanna get some movement in. Yeah. So we're gonna go do that right now. Okay, so we are back from our stroller walk. It was nice to get outside. This time of day is when we kind of like change it up, where she's awake, has playtime kind of on her own while I'm doing work as well. So I will show you then what my office looks like, since that's usually where we start in my office. So my office is an absolute mess. It is not decorated. There's nothing special about it, but it works for us right now. We've just been moving around a lot of rooms since this one was born. This used to be more like a den area because it doesn't have a closet in it at all. And then it was the nursery for a little bit, but we've moved her since down the hall. So now here's what my office looks like. So we have printer, some office supplies, totally blank wall. There's supposed to be something hanging up there, but of course it's not. My desk, which is an absolute wreck. And then we have just all these toys and fun things to keep her occupied. So eventually this space is going to look totally different. That is our goal here by the end of this year. But yeah, so that is my office and my desk, which is absolutely a wreck right now. Okay, so I was not able to get as much work done as I wanted to because this one has been extremely fussy. She's a pretty fussy baby, so it's good that I work from home and have a flexible schedule because she sometimes requires more attention than usual. We're gonna take a lunch break and then I am going to put her down for her big nap of the day. And that is where I always crank out the rest of my work I need to do, but I'll hop in more later and share more about that. Okay, so it's after lunchtime. The baby is down for her longest nap of the day. Usually I think I can get about 2 hours out of her. I better knock on wood for that. So I can get the rest of my work done for today. This is where I really just put my head down and prioritize, get everything accomplished that needs to be done today. I hopefully then will not have to work later this evening. I've really been trying in my business lately to not have to come back to work in the evenings. Now, obviously, if something happens, I have to be flexible, that's fine. But I'm really trying to prioritize time with my husband and my kids after, 2, 3 o'clock in the afternoon. So that is our goal right now. So I said actually that I would explain, a little bit about my business and why I call myself a social media virtual assistant. So as I've been working with my retainer clients, I've been figuring out the tasks that I really enjoy doing. And for most of them, I'm doing some sort of task, or multiple tasks, I should say, that has to do with social media. Eventually, I think I will niche down into social media management. That's kind of my goal here going into 2023. But there's just a lot of moving parts here with my business and the clients that I do have. So that's kind of why I say that I'm a social media virtual assistant, and I really enjoy all aspects of that right now and the flexibility. I'll explain a little bit about what my retainer clients look like.
Okay, so this one woke up a little earlier than I wanted her to, but that's okay because I have almost all work done for today. Just need to double check a couple things. But yeah, and actually I think since she's pretty pleasant and seems to be in a good mood, Mama's gonna get a quick workout in before kind of end our afternoon here. Okay, workout is done. Better than nothing, right? So some days when she wakes up earlier than expected, which was like today, she sometimes does like to go down for one more little nap before her big sister comes home. So we're gonna actually try to do that here. It's like 2:45 here. So I'm gonna put her down for a little cat nap. I'm gonna freshen myself up and make sure all my tasks are good to go. My work area is good. I have a to-do list ready for tomorrow. So I'll check in a little bit after I do all that. So it is 3 o'clock in the afternoon and I just now am put together. So where are my people at that are like that as well? That's seeming to become a really bad habit around here. But anyway, also, as you can see, someone is not taking her last nap, which, okay, fine, we'll be flexible. But I have everything finished for today. I have a list for tomorrow. Now, Thursdays and Fridays look a little bit different for me. The bulk of my work gets done Monday through Wednesday because tomorrow my toddler is coming home with me, and Fridays I really try not to work at all. Now, I do check in Friday afternoons because I do have like 2 clients that have things that just come in at that time that we have to make sure is scheduled, but that doesn't take very long. But other than that, yeah, Fridays are fun family time, and that is just what's working for us right now, and I love that. Okay, baby is down for her last nap. I am all ready to go for tomorrow. I will not have to work this evening, which is great, because Wednesdays in my house, Wednesday evenings are church night, and really busy for us. So, on top of my business, I also at my church am the nursery and preschool director, and my husband is our worship leader. So Wednesday nights are totally devoted. We do dinner beforehand as a family, and then we go to church. My toddler is in the Awana program, if you've ever heard of that, and then me and my husband are off doing our jobs. So that's what our Wednesday night looks like. So it is time for me to wrap it up here, this day in the life. Thanks so much for following along. Thank you to Michaela for having me. And also thank you to Michaela for just putting together this course and this whole community. It has completely changed my life. If you are someone that is sitting there and you are just kind of battling with yourself, you're not sure if you want to make the investment, first of all, send me a private DM then. I'll leave my Instagram handle here. You can come follow along, become my new friend. But I will give it to you straight that this will change your life. Yes, you have to put in the work, but it is so worth it to be home with your kids, to create your own schedule, just the freedom, the flexibility. So I really encourage you to do that. And if you have any questions, let me know. But thanks again and have a great day, everyone.